boys and girls. This is our fractions introduction kind of lesson. So fractions, all they are is it's just something that names part of a whole. Okay? Now I like to use pizza and cake and pie when we talk about fractions because it's something that we're all very used to eating and seeing, and it makes a lot more sense to us. So if we think about this as a pie, okay, there are parts of the fraction you need to know. It's called a numerator and a denominator, okay? Now the numerator is the number on top of the fraction, and we determine the difference between the top and the bottom with a line going horizontally across this way. So the number on top is the parts that we're counting, okay? It's the part of the whole that we're counting. The number on the bottom, or the denominator, is the number of parts in all, or it's the number of the whole. Okay, so in this example, in this pie, I have 1, 2, 3 pieces of pie in all, in the whole pie. Okay, and I put 2 on top because that's the part that's been shaded. Now this could be 2 pieces have been eaten, or it could show that 1 piece is left and the other 2 have been eaten. So think about it that way. You have 3 pieces in all. It goes on the bottom. And the number of parts that you're counting, in this case what's been shaded, is 2. Alright, keep in mind that fractional pieces have to be congruent. They have to be the same size and same shape. So if you look at these 2 examples, this one here, are these congruent? No. So these would not be considered fractional pieces, okay? They have to be equal. Same thing in this example, okay? And then here you notice that these are broken into 4 pieces, or fourths, and this was broken into 6 equal pieces, or sixths, okay? I want to do a couple practice problems where we can actually write in the numerator and denominator in a couple of different ways. Okay, so follow along on this first one, and then you could give the next one a try. So remember, on the bottom of the line, the denominator is the number of parts in all. So my first job is to count how many parts I have total. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 in my whole, or 6 in all. That's going to go on the bottom of these fractions. Now let's say on the top I want to write down the fractional pieces that are shaded. Okay, so if I want to know how many are shaded, I'm just going to count the ones that are green. The ones that have been colored in are shaded. 1, 2. And that goes on top. So I would read this as 2 sixths are shaded. Okay, so 2 of the 6 are shaded. Now what if I wanted to write down the fractional portion that was not shaded? Then I would just count the pieces that are not green. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that goes on top. So 4 sixths are not shaded. Okay, pause, rewind if you want to watch that portion before you give this one a try. Okay, this one, again, the first thing I want to do is find out what my total is. What's the whole? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 pieces in all, and remember, I say this as fourths. Okay, so again, I want to write down the portion, or the part of the whole that has been shaded. So I'm going to count the blue pieces, and I only have 1. So this reads 1/4. 1/4 are shaded. Okay, and again, I want to count how many are not shaded. How many are not blue? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 3/4 are not shaded. Okay, now you will always say the numerator as its number, so 2, 4, 1, 3. You will always say the denominator as sixths, fourths, thirds, halves. Okay, and we'll get the language as we go. But just know that the numerator is set as its number. The denominator is always set in sixths, halves, and so on. Okay? here is your homework. I would like for you to write a fraction to represent the shaded portion. Okay, if you'd like, you could also write the unshaded portion if you'd like to challenge yourself in that way. But I just right now want you to write me the shaded portion as a fraction. And then number 4, I'd like for you to think about ways you could divide a square, like this, into equal parts of 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. So take a square like this, you could draw it on the back, and I want you to see how could you divide this into halves, or 2 equal parts. What are some ways you could divide it into thirds, or 3 equal parts? Remember that they need to be congruent, equal parts. Okay, fourths, sixths, and eighths. I just want you to think about at least one way for each of these, and this is going to help us in class. And then lastly, number 5, I'd just like for you to give me 2 real-life examples where you use fractions, okay? You use them every day. If you can't think of 2, think of at least one way that maybe one of your parents or grandparents use fractions. You could also think about objects in real life that are broken into fractional pieces. Okay, so that's your homework, and good luck.